Hey, good morning. Happy Monday. Such a dark and gloomy, foggy morning, but it feels good up here in the Pacific Northwest. Good weekend overall. It was, on Friday we had the concert in Seattle. We went to go see A Perfect Circle at the Key Arena. It was probably one of the best sounding shows I've ever been to, and they played a couple of, I think, 2 songs off their new album, and it was very well done, despite Maynard getting over being sick. But it was a great show. Had a good time. Stayed up in Kirkland that night, over at my future parent-in-law's house. Yeah, that's how you say it. And then Saturday was just a lot of housework, and then Sunday was the busy day. We had family pictures that morning. I had my nephew's birthday party at noon, so I went to Trampoline Nation in Federal Way and just jumped around on the trampolines and did the basketball hoop, which was a lot of fun. That was actually I had more fun than the kids did. Found out that the Huskies got the Fiesta Bowl against Penn State. That's going to be a great matchup. That's one of the better bowls, and it's also December 30th, so the Huskies have their work cut out for them, but it's a very good challenge. Guaranteed already 10-win season, so that's awesome. And yesterday the Seahawks on Sunday night beat a 9-win streak team in the Philadelphia Eagles and beat them by 2 touchdowns. Aside from a couple of key turnovers, though, I think that it was a little closer than the score indicated, but it was still a good game. And I passed out last night really early, and it was just a very busy, productive weekend, but I feel good. And I got my run in today. I've got a busy week. So in regards to the interview that I have tomorrow, this is going to be a managerial position. It's also there's 2 kind of areas that I kind of see myself going in towards career-wise, and this one is education. The other side of it is talent development, sort of career development type of a department, and education. This one is a college program manager for that department, and I looked it over. It's one of those jobs that you read and it fits exactly in line with what you're currently doing or you have done or that you're passionate about doing. And so it's one of those, it's going to be a lot busier. It's going to be one of those desk jobs, a lot of research, a lot of paper writing, a lot of grant writing, but it's something that I feel like I can do. It would be one of those jobs where I don't have the experience in regards to writing grants and everything, but it's a chance that if I do get that position, it's a great learning experience, a great position, and definitely a resume builder. I feel like I can do it, and it's going to have to take a very good interview. It's going to take I'm going to need to have to present a very good writing sample, but it's just one of those things that I'm good at doing, and I'm confident in my abilities. And the thing is, if I don't get it, I still got the opportunity to interview for it. And that's the thing, is you got to take a little sliver of positivity out of something that may not have worked out in your favor. Hey, at least you got a shot. At least you got a chance. Now you know what it tastes like, and now you know what you have to do in order to reach that next plateau. And yesterday, another thing. So the interview, it's tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it. I called and spoke to the hiring manager yesterday. That's the thing that you need to do. If you ever put in for a job, make sure that you call, find out who the hiring manager is, call Human Resources, ask who it is, and call them up and speak to them. And ask them questions. Let them know that you're extremely interested in this position. Let them know what your name is, because when you go in for the interview, they go like, oh, I spoke to you. I remember you. And I couldn't meet this person up because of the fact that they had the day off, but I called and spoke to him anyway. And, of course, they agreed to do it beforehand. They gave me the number and said that even though I'm off today, I could talk to you for a few minutes. Sure. So I did. And so I made the effort to at least call this person. Now they know who will be coming in for an interview. And so, but on top of that, I scheduled a weekend in July to where we will be summiting Mount Baker. And so this is my first mountaineering experience. I have summited Mount St. Helens twice. And that one it's a day hike. It's not exactly, a detail. You don't need a lot of detail, or, you don't need to know about, knots and ropes and, carabiners, or, you don't need a helmet necessarily. You could wear one. I've taken an ice axe up there. So when you glissade down, so when you climb to a top, I'm behind this van again. This van always gets in front of me. Anyway, so whenever you're going down snow, if it's safe, you can slide down on your butt and use your ice axe as sort of an e-brake, like in a car. And you just dig it in with your elbow like this, and it slows you down. So the cool thing about that is, the dangerous thing is that you go so fast that you catch your foot, like you're going down the snow, and you catch a chunk of ice or something, and it snaps your ankle, which has happened before, that one of my friends has had an experience with. And this person had to get airlifted off of a mountain, which I'm pretty sure the medical bill for that was tremendous. But it's a fact that I've done something similar to this. So the highest I've ever been, St. Helens, I believe, is 8,000. And so this will be 10.7 in fact. And I know I talked about Rainier, but this is, I've read things from other people that I'm still considering Rainier, by the way, and it's also something I will do. I'm going to do Rainier, but in regards to training, I've heard that, I might still be able to do both in the same year. I don't know. I'm not ruling that out, but in regards to doing one or the other or both, I've heard that Baker is a lot more, fun because it's isolated more. It's not as busy as Rainier is, and it's also the first step. There's a documentary on Netflix, if you guys can check it out. It's called A New High, and it's about this mission for men, and also has a women's division as well in Seattle, that takes people in treatment in heroin, alcohol, cocaine, crack, meth, and trains them to climb Mount Rainier. And they start off, their first test and challenge is Mount Baker. And so I saw that, and then I also been speaking with a couple other people about mountaineering. And Baker, it's the idea is that there's a few difficult parts. It's a lot of elevation gain. It's pretty like this, but at the same time, there's just a few things you need. I also need some crampons, and I'm also going to need some mountaineering boots. And I had a pair of I'm going to say this, a Solo, ASOLO. And I got these. I was like, I found a really good cheap pair at the REI garage sale, and I tried hiking them, and then they hurt my feet. But what the thing was with these boots, they're actually mountaineering, so you can actually hook up crampons to them, and they feel great for that. And that's just because you're digging your foot into the snow each time you take a step. But with the boots that I have now, that I currently wear, my shoes bend so much, they're so flexible because I trail run, so it's like I need to have that give for when we're stepping on rocks and stuff like that. When you're with those big boots, it's like you don't get much bend into them. It's more of just plop, 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 plop. And so I need to get some mountaineering boots, preferably some Solos, or maybe even Merrell, or I'm trying to think of the other brand that people buy. But I need to get another pair of boots. But it's just one of those things that, I personally, I got into hiking. I started climbing peaks. I started climbing mountains. I started, within reason, just these easy to do hikes, or these hikes that are not very difficult, or not very technical, I should say. And so, the thing is, with me, I'm always trying to push myself a little bit higher every time. And so this would be a natural progression into doing something a little more challenging, which is summiting mountains. And so Baker, there's Hood, there's Rainier. I'm going to try to do St. Helens again this year. But it's just, I want to keep challenging myself, keep pushing myself, and keep myself with something scheduled to train for. So now I have something to train for. And I need to start working on, climbing stairs. I need to start working on my breathing. I need to start reading. I bought a book yesterday, the 9th edition, Freedom of the Hills. Mountaineering Edition 9 from Mountaineers Books, which is a great organization based out of Seattle that prints a lot of books about hiking and the outdoors and mountaineering and stuff like that. And so it's huge. It's like 632 pages, and I'm starting to read it, trying to find out, the certain knots you need, the certain techniques, all the things you're going to need, the checklists, all of that. And so for me, it's extremely intoxicating because it's the whole process of planning to do something that you've never done before, but you're slightly afraid of doing, that you're excited about. It's like that, it's like there is danger to it, but at the same time, if you plan ahead, you take the proper, precautions, and you plan, you train, you should be okay. People do die on mountains. It's true. But then again, if you think about this, and I know it's not the greatest thing to be doing while I'm driving, but you could even die on your way to work, driving to work. There's danger in everything that you do. You can't just sit in your house and sit in your room and just ponder life and ponder adventures. You need to actually get out of the house and do things about it and do some adventures. And so that's what, I want to take my life is in my hands. I want to do what I do in order to enjoy my life, and in doing challenging things and sort of semi-dangerous things is fun for me. And so I want to get over that hump of being afraid of the mountains. One of the other fears I have is the ocean because of Jaws. Thanks, Steven Spielberg. And I just don't like water. I can't necessarily. I can swim. Like when we went to Hawaii, I swam in the ocean. It was fine. I can jump off of cliffs. I can jump off of bridges. But swimming in waters where I don't necessarily see the bottom, that's always been sort of a underlying fear that I have. But it's not something that'll prevent me from even getting in the water at all. It's just something like crap. I don't want anything to touch my legs, nothing to touch my toes or my feet, nothing. But it's just so I'm training for Mount Baker. It's going to be the weekend of July, I think 14, 15, 16. So you drive up there because it's in northern Washington, central North Washington. And you go up there, you camp at the trailhead, you hike up as far as you can go. It's sort of like a base camp area where everyone camps out the night before. You get a good night's sleep, or you rest up as much as possible, because the next day is all pretty much like this. And so it's a short distance, but there's a lot of elevation gain, and you need to be extremely safe, and you need to get started on that part of the mountain before the sun comes up, because when the sun comes out, it starts to melt ice. And so you have to get while it's still cold out and not exposed to the sun, so you don't get avalanches or rock slides or anything like that. So I just need to be watching some documentaries, some videos, some other people have done it, and I just need to train for it. And it's an exciting part, an exciting chapter. I haven't ruled out Rainier this year, but Baker would definitely be the first thing that I could do to say to myself, I've done it. I've climbed a mountain. I've summited a 10,000 foot mountain at least. And the next thing is, I'm not crazy enough, I don't think, to do like Everest or anything. But after what I've done, after Baker, it's like, there's so many more I could do. There's all these, especially in Colorado, I've noticed there's a lot of what they call 14,000 footers. And, I climbed like 5 14s, people will say that. And 14s are anything over 14,000 feet or near it, similar to Rainier. So it's a good, challenging thing, and it's expensive, but at the same time, man, I'm stoked to have a team of guys that I trust, to go out there and do what I want to do, and to have fun doing it, and to challenge ourselves, and to train and put our lives in each other's hands. That's the thing that I've heard this from, guys that teach business and sort of strategy and motivation and leadership type stuff is, you get these companies that, people will throw you under the bus or do cutthroat, stab you in the back to keep their job. But like in the military, it's people operate much more effectively and efficiently because they know that the other person behind them or in front of them is willing to die for them, or to put their life on the line to help them out, to work together towards a common goal. And for me, that's the thing. That's like football, or everyone's on the same team. It's everyone's there for the same reasons. They support each other regardless of what they do most of the time. And it's just that good camaraderie, good bond that we have. And so I'm excited to do this. I'm excited to train for it. I have something now to not just focus purely on running. Now I have to work on hiking trails and getting a lot of elevation gain. I'm going to start doing a lot of higher mountains or hikes that have a lot of elevation gain, and just like training on Mailbox, maybe Mount Defiance, a couple other like Bandera Mountain, stuff like that. So I'm excited. Yeah, see, that's I started off talking about one little thing. I thought it was going to be quick, and I ended up going almost 15 and a half minutes. So appreciate you watching. Thank you very much. I will see you tomorrow morning. This is a great weekend, and I got a lot of things coming up, and it's exciting to have all these positive changes starting to come because, Mount Rainier looks beautiful this morning, by the way. I'm excited. This is awesome. So I'll see you guys tomorrow morning.